Hey guys, we're back, and this time we're taking a look at another World of Tanks miniatures game expansion. This time around it is Wave 4, and we've got the daddy of all tanks, the Tiger 1. Can't wait to get in and take a look at this one, so we're going to jump right in. As with all the expansions, inside here are some instructions on how to redeem a code to get some free stuff in the video game if you play it. It's on this little card here. Definitely take a look. If you play the video game and online, you're going to enjoy having some free stuff for it. For our vehicle card here, you can see the Tiger 1 has the Fortress special ability. It is a Tier 7 heavy tank. 65 points, but well worth it. It has a firepower of 5, which is above average, as it should be. Survivability of 2, mobility of 2, initiative of 4. Has a massive 8 hit points, which is the most out of any vehicle I think we've seen. And we have a commander, gunner, driver, radio operator, and loader, full set of crew. On the back side here, we have the history of the tank, a little bit about it. Up here we have our heavy tank ability. When defending, this tank can reroll a blank defense die. And over here we have our fortress ability. When this tank is the target of a side shot, do not subtract defense dice. So basically your flanking shots from the side do not cause you to lose defense dice because the armor is just so thick. You do still get that reduction from the rear though, so keep that in mind. It only affects the side armor. So still a nice thing. For our upgrades, first thing we have is the Maybach engine. It is German only, 3 points. Can only be used on the Tiger and the Tiger 2. Gives you +2 initiative during the movement phase. Just what this thing needs, a little bit more initiative to get it to be able to use its move to counter other vehicles out there and basically get yourself in position to make it best use of its massive gun. Next thing we have here is a consumable, is chocolate, German only for 1 point. It's a discard on use, repairs the radio damaged or crew bailed out card. Again, I've seen that one before. I think it's in the basic set even. And it's just a way to counter a couple criticals. I still question the fact of how chocolate fixes the radio. I get it, it boosts morale, gets the crew to jump back in. But yeah, fixing the radio with chocolate I haven't figured out. Maybe they use the aluminum foil in the wrapper. Onto our crew cards, we have Mentor, which is a basic commander for 4 points. Gives you +2 initiative in the movement phase for every 2 crew cards, including this crew card attached to the tank. So you actually have to have at least one other crew card on there to get the +2. But again, higher initiative during the movement phase allows you to see where others are moving and then move yourself to combat that and take advantage. Next we have Off-Road Driving, which is a basic driver for 3 points. Again, +2 initiative during the movement phase, so you can get that additional movement moving later in the order to combat, see where other people moved and then counter that. And finally we have a unique gunner, German only, Erwin Prentzel, 8 points. He gives you snapshot, as long as your tank doesn't have an assault gun. You get +2 initiative during the shooting phase. Nice to boost up shooting phase initiative for once. And then we have concealment. Gives you additional +1 survivability while in cover. He's a really nice addition. +2 initiative for shooting is what this tank really needs because we're going to be moving early because of all these. You start with the 4, which is average. But you got a bunch of different upgrades that allow you to move later in the turn to see how everybody else is going to move and react. This allows you to shoot earlier in the turn to get up there as well. That's a big thing. All these that only boost movement. Then when it comes to shooting, you're going to be taking hits before you get to return fire. Thankfully, this tank can do that, but he will help out with that as well, boosting up your initiative to shoot, as well as giving you a bonus to your survivability. For our Tiger model, I've always thought that the Tiger was bigger than this. It always just seemed bigger, but I guess it's still pretty large by the game standards, but thing's packed with extra armor plating. And love the look of the 88. I wish they drilled out the tip of the barrel, though, to actually have a hole in it. That's something I may do myself. Nice looking tank, though. And that's a look at everything that comes in the Tiger 1 expansion. I have to say, I'm a little underwhelmed at the 5 attack. While it's above average, I believe in the last wave, the Firefly had a 6 attack value on the main gun, and I think that only has a 76 millimeter on it. I'm not sure what that thing came with by default, but the fact that the 88 has less attack value than a Firefly, I'm very shocked at. Kind of disappointed with it, especially since there's nothing to upgrade the attack value. That is very disappointing. However, the survivability of this tank kind of makes up for it. 2 base plus the extra defense you get for the reroll for being a heavy tank, plus the fortress ability, which allows you to basically negate damage from the side flanking attacks. Those all work together. You have your crew guy here who can give you that bonus while you're in cover. So you can really boost this thing up, and it's got the massive 88 hull points on top of that. So you can make this thing literally untouchable, and you add to that 2 mobility, so you can be on the move too, and you're going to be rolling 6 defense dice 90% of the time with a reroll in there too. So hurting the Tiger is definitely going to be the challenge, actually getting damage to stick to it. And once you do, the fact that it has 8, it just keeps taking damage and keeps coming. In the old tanks version of the game, I have a couple Tigers, and we played a game with them, and we had the thing surrounded, and we were just hammering on it every turn, and it had, by the end, it had like 6 damage on it. It was on fire. You know, the turret ring was damaged, I think. The track was blown off. I mean, it was beat to crap. It wasn't going anywhere, but we could not kill it, and the game actually ended, and the Tigers won because we couldn't stop them. And that's the one thing you're going to keep in mind if you're playing this, if you're using the Germans and you're using the Tiger, why wouldn't you? Put repair kits on there, put fire extinguishers on there, things like that, because the chocolate bars too, because you have the 8 hull, you're going to be taking a lot of damage. Over the course of that damage, you're inevitably going to take some criticals. Depending on what the criticals are, they can do some bad things to you, like making your crew bail out. So you're going to want things to try to counter those, try to repair those, and get them up and running again, because just having that, you have double the hull of most other tanks. That gives you double the chances of getting criticals on there. So you don't want things to deal with those. Keep that in mind when you're doing your builds. That said, without any upgrades, it's still a pretty beastly tank. The points cost is up there, and that's probably the biggest detriment of it. Because of the points value, you're not going to be able to have that much upgrades on here. Otherwise, it becomes a big target. It's already going to be probably, base tank alone is going to be more expensive than any other tank in your platoon. So keep that in mind. It is going to be a target. On the positive side, it can take it. So it's well worth having at least 1 Tiger in your platoon. If you're going to be playing Germans and you don't have a Tiger in there, you're doing it wrong. So anyway, that is going to wrap it up for our look at the Wave 4 expansion for the World of Tanks miniatures game, the Tiger 1. Those are my thoughts on it. Hope you feel the same, because if you don't, you're doing it wrong. But other than that, as always, thank you guys for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.